Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Gamer Weekly. Yes, it's been a while. Oops, my bad. I'm sorry. So,
What happened?
with me today is Dean and Sepper from Salty Gold Productions. Thank you guys so much for coming onto the show.
So yeah,
No
hi
problem.
guys. I
Let's go.
totally did not expect an interview right now. So
That's
sorry if I'm not really prepared or something.
that. Hey, that's how we do it here on the show. So, right now, you guys just released your game Hegis Grasp. For those of the people out there that don't know what the game is, what is Hegis Grasp and what is it about?
All right. Hegis Grasp is a story-driven, atmospheric horror game, survival horror game, and it takes place in the 18th century, or I'm sorry, 19th century, just before it goes into the 20th, about 1896, in a village that is allegedly cursed, and you play as a journalist who wants to verify the rumors about what's going on in this village. Uh, Whenever you get there, you find out that you've bit off way more than you can chew and put your companions in danger. And so you get stuck trying to save them and just get the hell out of there.
So when you say it's a survival horror game, is it very similar to like early Resident Evil kind of survival horror? Or are we talking more like how I guess modern survival horror is, where like Amnesia or something, where you don't really have any weapons and you're kind of running away constantly?
It's more like a classic Resident Evil game. Actually, it was inspired by Resident Evil 4.
So it's going to be absolutely terrifying, is what you're telling me.
Yeah, you have you have weapons.
So, what to you guys makes a game scary?
Okay, well, I guess I'll go first on that one. I would definitely say that I don't really like it when it relies on jump scares. I think putting people in eerie atmospheres and giving them a very tough situation where it's not the fact that you want to be there, but that you want to know what's going on, but that's not gonna exactly going to be easy to figure out in the first place.
So, what games would you say rely heavily on jump scares?
Five Nights of Freddy's.
Right?
I was
That's all
expecting
that
that
game's
one.
about. Uh, I mean,
What
there's a
else?
lot of there's other games like Emily Wants to Play kind of does that same thing. Um, there's a lot of just cheap games that do that.
Yeah, and
It's
most indie games also go for jump scares.
yeah,
No
because it's
story.
just easy, but they're short. They don't really like stick to you. You don't play a game, get a jump scare, and go, "Wow, that was an amazing game." Unless it's Five Nights at Freddy, apparently.
You know, when Five Nights at Freddy's first came out, I had some fun playing the game, and I have like really great memories of just hanging out in my dorm, and I scared the living shit out of a friend of mine. All I did was turn off the lights when the game started, and he was like, "I'm too scared to play it now," and so I give him shit for
Yeah,
it
I
constantly.
get that. I totally get why Five Nights at Freddy's is so scary.
I mean, it's also marketable too. I mean, they at least have that going on
Yeah,
for them, so I can respect them for that. I
I
also
mean,
hit. Oh, sorry.
I can say I understand the first one, where you're the security guard and you're watching the cameras and things that aren't supposed to be moving are moving and coming at you. And you gotta watch around. That one's a little more understandable, and then it just gets cheaper as the games progressed.
Yeah, I would agree. It's kind of similar to maybe. I feel like Outlast kind of did like the same thing too, where it felt like a lot of really cheap jump scares. I like the atmosphere for it. Like I really thought that they had a really cool atmosphere going on with it, but it still at the same time is very like you're kind of stuck just being a guy doing nothing. So and they just throw things at you randomly and I'm like, really? We got to do it. Like when you see that long hallway and there's a guy sitting in a chair, you're like, I know he's gonna come and jump at me. I know it's gonna happen, but I still got to walk down the hall, and then he jumps at you.
true.
Yeah, they had their moment.
So, what would you say that Hegis Grasp does that makes that differentiates it from all the other kind of horror games out there?
Yeah, sure. So there's a lot of build up. The story and everything, it just builds up the moment for the jump scare. That's what I think.
So it creates better tension than most horror games.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. What would you say is one of the best horror games that you've ever played?
Um, so I think the best horror game I've played is Resident Evil 4 and perhaps also Resident Evil 7. And Silent Hill was also pretty okay.
Well, me myself, I've always been a really big fan of Silent Hill. Silent Hill 3 is my favorite of the series. Um, I definitely have to say Silent Hill 3 because I've played through that more than any other horror game.
See, because I'm surprised that you didn't go with Silent Hill 2, because that seems to be like the one that everyone jumps to. Um,
That one's okay. And I'm not gonna put hate on it, but other than the twist at the end, it's not that great of a game or story, in my opinion.
it's definitely better than Silent Hill 4, that's for sure.
Well, Silent Hill 4 started as an indie project. That wasn't even by Team Silent in the first place. It was just called Room 302, and Team Silent liked where it was going, so they took over that project, and that's why it's a little different from the rest.
And then they brought it over to America, and now it's terrible. So, what would you say is your favorite part about Hegis Grasp?
I think Chapter 2 is the most terrifying part of the whole game. Also, Chapter 4 is going to be amazing. So, watch out for that. But it's not out yet. It will be soon.
For me, my favorite part's gonna be pretty much the ending. I think it's gonna be great whenever people encounter the finale without giving anything away.
So it's got a like an M Night Shyamalan kind of twist at the end of it. Well,
I don't know about him. He's got some really good twists. I'm not gonna put myself on that level, but it's definitely got a very climactic moment at the end.
for you guys, so how long have you guys been working on this game?
So, actually, I started this project alone. And about 6 months later, Dean joined the team and we improved it. I think 1 year is when I started to, so 1 year ago. Yeah.
And what did you guys do? Did you guys develop the engine of the game yourself, or were you guys using like Unity or Unreal or something like that?
It was made with using Unity.
What does Hegis Grasp mean to you?
Okay, I'll go first. Well, this is technically a launch title for me. This will be the first game to be published that I was able to write the story for. I would definitely say it means the beginning of what I can do, and it shows that I'm not a fan of jump scares either, and that I'd rather bring a terrifying atmosphere, or rather an eerie one, and put players in an uncomfortable situation that they have to get themselves out of.
So basically, this game to you is proving to everyone that you can make a scary game. So, what advice would you give people that are trying to make a horror game?
So I think you should have a solid storyline and some knowledge of how to make the game, like programming or something like that.
And Dean, what about you? What would you say? What advice would you give to people that are trying to make a horror game?
I would definitely just say try to avoid being jump scare orientated. People are over that. They're not interested in having a bunch of jump scares. So definitely have like at least a half decent story. That's very important. And if you're not going to have a story, then the atmosphere needs to give its own story. Like as for instance, the game Ensign, where they don't really tell you anything, but you're constantly curious as to what's going on.
So, yeah, basically just creating the curiosity in there and creating that intrigue and getting people to just completely wander into your horror, basically.
Yeah, don't give everything away, but hint at everything.
So if anybody wants to play Hegis Grasp, the game is out currently on Steam, and you guys should go check it out. And if you guys enjoyed this episode, also check out the other episodes of the show as well, because we've got a lot of other great horror games that we've talked about before, and other games varieties as well. So Dean, Sepher, thank you guys so much for coming onto the show, and go buy their game. It's going to be awesome. It's out right now. Go do it. Go. It's on sale. Do it.
I appreciate the interview, Justin.
No problem.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
No problem. Thank you guys so much for getting back with me. And
No
yeah, thank you everybody out there, and goodbye.
Bye, guys.